Hello there. This is um, a suggestion about perspective. Um, a lot of people have problems like with perspective because it's very precise. Because people you have to get out a ruler or you get a triangle or some kind of like measuring thing, and it gets very specific sometimes. Like it's almost like mathematics, right? So some people, actually many people, are not fans of it, and understandably so. Because this really does require thinking. Okay, so um, and I think that kind of like turns people off. At least for myself. That's something that kind of turns me off because people like want to draw things that are organic and have like some sense of like of humanity or something like that. So um, the basic elements of perspective that we need to know. Okay, we need to know like 2 point perspective, which is like you have like lines converging on opposite ends of the horizon line of the eye line, like that, right? We have to know 1 point perspective, which is basically everything like converging to like 1 point, like that, right? This is like a landscape. There's a sun in the background. There's a bird, right? This, like that, right? This would be like 1 point. And the other one that also tends to turn people off a lot, which is this great one, um, which is 3 point perspective, right? Okay, so the question is, um, number one, when we want to draw perspective, do we always have to draw these terrible lines all the time, to show perspective? Now, if you're drawing buildings and things like that, yeah, you might want to do that so things will be precise. Um, but as you can see, obviously, I didn't do that. I just did it just freehand, like that. No rules or anything like that. Perspective is basically um, an awareness that you need to have. Um, it's not just a tool, but it's a tool um, of awareness you have that it applies to everything, like when you draw, right? So obviously, okay, I'll use this 2 point example again, right? And this time I didn't even draw a horizon line, okay? So actually, I will put a horizon line there, okay? So obviously, the side that is closest to us, which would be this A point here, is going to be bigger, right? The B point over here obviously is smaller because it's farther away. It's going away in space, right? So um, that's just a basic idea that we need to keep in mind. Things that are that are that are closest to us are going to appear to be bigger. Things that are farther away might have the image of like being far away, maybe sorry, being smaller in relation to the things that are closest to us, right? Like I have like this sphere here, right? So what I want to get at is like, how can we improve our understanding of like perspective in a way that is easier and more accessible? Okay. Two things, we need to think about, right? Which is like size relationships, right? And another thing we have to think about also is basically this relationship, which you have is like lines that are converging, like that, right? I have, you know, uh, two lines like going to this X point, and for some reason, the way we see things, our eyes tend to go vroom, it feels like it's vanishing away, right? And that's kind of like it's an illusion. Okay. One thing you can do, because I think people tend to feel more comfortable like with organic shapes. For example, like the sphere here, right? So the sphere, not a circle, a sphere. You know, well, if I think about like drawing a line around it like this, right? Immediately I'm putting it like in a space. Or you know what? If I put like an X here on top as kind of like a marking point. So, okay, I know this is the point that's closest to me, right? So if I draw like another line like this, and then a line like that. So, I'm getting the sensation of of sides, right? Obviously, this A side here might seem a little bit farther away from us, from, let's say, like this B side, because I drew this line down here like that, right? Okay. So one exercise you can do is like you can just like draw lines around a sphere to give you like the idea of like going around an object and like having something in space. Okay. Another thing we can do, so it doesn't always have to be just like a sphere. Okay. you know by the way, like some of you, if you ever like looked at some other like how to draw books, and you see like how to draw like a head or something like that, and they'll have like this kind of shape, and they, what do? They'll draw a line down one side and then a line like this, right? So people automatically, they kind of associate this like where the eyes, where the eyes would be, and like where like the nose would be, and like where where the mouth would be, right? However, this line here also helps us to see things in perspective, right? So, but you have to, but it can't be like a flat line. We don't want to do this, right? You don't want to like, okay, you have like a head that's kind of like in a 3/4, and if I just do a line like this, like that flattens it out. I mean, like this like this these are like perfectly like perpendicular lines, right? So the truth is, when things are going to be going in space, like, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is, okay, instead of doing that, like again, how is it going around? So you see how I'm curving it. I'm curving this, and I'm curving the line like that. It's not such a big curve, but it is a slight curve, implying that there is a something is going away in space. Okay, so that's something you want to keep in mind. If you're gonna use that as a tool. Like when you draw when you draw a head. Okay. Okay. So my other point is like, okay, so instead of just like a sphere, sorry, doing spheres again. Okay, you want to go practice going around the form, right? Going around. So this is going to help build your understanding of putting things in space and perspective, like you're going around something. Okay, And you can just do that, you know, over and over again, over and over again, you know, until, you know, the whole thing is filled up, okay, within this frame. Another thing you can do is, okay, you can take this sphere and we're going to stretch it out like this, right? So like, you know, it's not much different that we just pulled it out. But here I'm gonna go around it, around, around, around. So you see how the lines are getting smaller, right? Or they're getting bigger as they're coming closer to me, and they're getting smaller, you know, as they're going away. That's also going to help like your understanding perspective. Even if I do it like horizontally, right? If I do like this, and I do like that, and I do like that, or do something like that, right? So this is creating a sense of perspective for us, okay? So our understanding perspective doesn't always have to be, you know, so, you know, right angle, linear, you know, like this all the time, because yeah, sometimes it's a bit much sometimes, right? But, you know, any of us can basically, you know, like draw, you know, something like a cup, you know, or, you know, a cylinder, or, you know, or like a long bean or something like that. I'm gonna put this in two forms, okay? And then like we can draw lines around it, you know. Again, you see how my lines are getting shorter and shorter, because these lines are going down, these lines are going down, they're converging. Eventually they're gonna meet here at some point, right? So if I kept on going, you can imagine this having like a natural progression all the way down, right? And of course, you know, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Or like on this bean, you know, again, go around it, go around it, go around it, go around. Okay, now you see that? Now you see I have like this one volume, but here this is a different volume. So I'm going to go this way. But again, my lines are still getting smaller, right? So this is helping you like to see things three-dimensionally, to see things in perspective, okay? So this might be a helpful tool, so give it a try. All right, I'll see you next time. All right, bye.